Okay, welcome back, everybody, and we will reconvene. It is 7 p.m. and tonight on our agenda we have our Fair Board discussion as it relates to returning oversight back to the Fair Board. So with that, if you guys will come forward, sit at the front table. Remember to speak into the mics. We are on TV, so the people in the public cannot hear you if you are not speaking into the mic. Please introduce yourselves and we'll get started.
Alan Higgins. I'm the current Fair Board president of the Fair Board.
Okay.
T.W. Gilland. Wow, that'll work. T.W. Gilland. I'm vice president of the Fair Board.
Brian Thornbrew, one of the members.
Okay. So we set this up especially for you guys. Last Monday night, we had a discussion in our workshop and then in our regular meeting that we felt that it was time to give you back your fiduciary responsibility for the fair, which in 2019, I'm going to go back and give a little bit of history. When this was taken away from you guys, I think in 2015, and when I first started, it was like, hey, we need cash here, we need money here, we need X, Y, and Z, which just seemed like more of a pain than it was worth. So we felt that, I mean, you guys have been responsible, we're going to give this back to you, and that was basically our discussion. You can go back and watch our YouTube video of Monday and Tuesday, and you can hear anything and everything that we had stated. So with that, we had our administrator then go to your meeting and basically give you that option is like, hey, we're gonna go ahead and give this back to you guys. And it sounds like that's not, or wasn't received well. And now so we're here tonight, so.
What we got told was basically we have to start 501c3 for the Fair Board. Is that what you guys were?
That wasn't even discussed.
That's what we got told the other night, was it was the Fair Board, like the budget from the county, all that, we would become our own entity.
Okay, we never discussed, the three of us
And
never
that's
even
where
discussed
our
a
pushback is coming from.
C3.
You know, if we were gonna, I mean, of course, we know that our budget's going to get cut this year for the fair. I mean, it's just a fact of life. But I mean, I think all this stuff you guys are talking about was pre our time. We weren't on the board until after all this came through, when they overspent and all that stuff.
Which basically was pre
Yes,
all of our time
all of
too.
our time.
So we're all starting brand new.
Yeah. And I
But
mean,
we just felt that it was time to give you guys back your books, give you back your budget, and you control it. We don't need to be overseeing it or controlling it. We don't control or oversee any other budget other than approved budgets.
Okay.
So we felt that that was the right thing to do. You guys have showed the responsibility. You guys manage it. So as far as creating a 501c3, I don't think you've ever been a 501c3.
No.
And I don't see, I'll look at my attorney, but I don't think there's any reason to form a 501c3 at this point in time unless you chose to do so for whatever reason.
No.
That would be up to you as a board. I'm not sure.
Right.
I'm not sure that you would need that.
no, and that's, like I said, that's our issue last Monday night, was all that, because we, you know, basically taking us out from underneath the county stuff, and it was like, we don't have time for one thing, because, you know, we're just like you guys, we work a full-time job and then volunteer at night to do this, and, you know, the week of fair.
So as far as I know, and we'll have to look back into it in 2015 and prior, before they took it over, I do not believe the Fair Board has ever been a 501c3. I can tell you that was never part of our conversation. And if it came up, it was probably a conversation that you guys had in here, but I don't feel that we have to have that as a 501c3 for them at all.
It'd
They
cost
can
them
still
more, it'd
fall-
cost them more money.
They can still fall under the purview of the county as a fair board.
Real quick, do you want me to bring, because I wrote notes, do you want me to bring up the questions that you guys had? I'm not sure if you got the questions.
Did you have any other questions, Dustin?
No, the questions that you guys wanted me to bring up in the Monday meeting about the 501c3, insurance,
So I think the biggest
taxes.
question on it was, are they gonna?
I'll have to ask you to come up because we are live. Anytime you get all three of us together, we have to be live. So part of the conversation has to be live. Please introduce yourself.
My name's Dustin Sturdivant, and I'm the current treasurer for the Fair Board.
Okay, thank you, Dustin.
You're welcome. So I think the biggest question was, when you're opening it, when you're talking about turning back the fiduciary responsibility, that would be a checking account held by the Fair Board? Strictly by the Fair Board, or still being under the county, we would have a couple commissioners on that checking account?
The way I understand it in the past, and if I'm wrong, I'll have my attorney correct it, but the way I understand it in the past, you never had a commissioner on your checking account. It was held and administered by the Fair Board.
I don't think we
Because-
could legally be on it.
Yeah,
I don't think we could either, because that would be even worse than trying to track down somebody here at administration. You guys are trying to track down one of us, that would even be worse.
Right.
You would be going back tenfold, because to try and track down one of us on a daily basis is probably gonna be harder than coming right here to the office on a daily basis. So that was never our intention, and that was never even discussed, so.
Always in the past, when I was on the commission before, we gave the Fair Board so much money every year. We budgeted so much money to give them to run the fair. We never, that was your money, your checking account, you take care of it and do the fair.
Well, I just
And
asked as
that's the
far
way
as-
it should be. You guys shouldn't have to run up here every 5 minutes to get
Right.
something paid for. You need to do it.
And
And
'Cause-
I mean, I'm comfortable with doing it that way, long as, you know, you guys are still behind us on the,
oh, yeah.
you know, on the fair.
On the
stuff.
funding,
On the funding
basically,
and stuff
because, I
like
mean, already where we're at, you know, I know you guys have businesses, so for us to go around to get kind of donations from businesses on top of all the other entities that are going on in our county, you know, businesses fork out a lot of money for a lot of different events, a lot of different things, so we were under the impression that it's a possibility that you guys might pull funding, and then, you know, that leaves everything up in the air completely.
We have not had any discussion
Okay.
about pulling funding
Yeah.
from you.
That
I mean,
was-
I'm
I
not
think
saying that.
that was one of our
'cause
major, I know, like
County's
Alan said.
in a bind this year, but
Right, and we know that, so
we're-
we know that our.
we're gonna
budget
have
is-
to scrutinize everything.
Right, and we
But
understand that,
that
so.
we have not
you know,
had one bit of discussion
Okay.
about pulling your funding, okay?
then that would be-
That I'm aware of, unless
No,
somebody else did, but,
That might have been just what, amongst the talks, the
well,
misunderstanding as to, is that possible, that would be, you know,
Well, I think anything could be
So-
possible. I think
yeah.
it's important
Right.
to clarify that. I mean, you
Exactly,
guys would
and
come
that's
and
why
ask
we're
for money,
here.
and then
That's
we
why we're here.
would
So-
delegate the money.
And I would like to go just one step farther in the clarification. So I believe it was in 2019, Alan, when I first started here, you guys came to us and asked, hey, in 2020, can we have a liquor's license? And can we actually have a concert? And would you be willing to help us? Because apparently you had to do the booking fees and whatever up front. You didn't have the money, correct?
Yes,
Relatively, I mean, in
I
a
think so.
quick synopsis of that, that's kind of how that went down. So in 2020, we said, okay, we'll give you the money. You guys said we should make more than ample of money with the liquor license and the concert. We should be able to pay you back for that booking fee. So we increased that by, I want to say $30,000, $35,000.
30,000.
So it's kind of a different discussion, but we've never stated anywhere that we were pulling your funding specifically. So we're now getting calls from the public. Commissioner Copenhaver and I were at a talk Saturday night. That question definitely came up. And we're like,
I've been getting the
wait a
same-
minute, where did you guys hear this from? Because you can go back and view everything that we have said live, and that was never even discussed. So I'd like to squash that rumor
Okay.
and quail
Yeah.
it, because it's not true.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my phone's been ringing off the, all, since last Monday
Yeah.
about it, or Sunday, actually, before we even got here for the meeting. So, like I said, I think, the meeting tonight should clear all that up with everybody.
Okay, so,
Um, The only thing I see on the checkbook is the possibility of having 3 signers. It has to have at least 2. I mean, I'm sure you guys are aware that our secretary quit,
Yeah.
or is done. You know, she didn't show up to fair. She finally put in her notice like a week or 2 before fair started.
That hurt.
who's that?
Asia.
Asia Lynn. And a lot of the stuff that she was supposed to take care of was dropped. So with that, I mean, you know, Dustin, this is his last, probably close to one of his last meetings, because he's not re-upping for another term. So, you know, I'm still in, TW's still in, Brian,
I'm re-signing.
Lindsay's still re-signing, and then Mary. So I mean, we still have a fairly strong board. There's a couple, I think you guys got the applications. I don't know if you guys reviewed them or not.
I seen.
I've seen one.
Then I got hit up by an individual out there, but I
There
haven't
was
seen any.
Tammy Hampton,
Yep,
and then there was some other one that come across to email, and I think it was forwarded on too. But,
Tammy Hampton's the only one that I've seen
Yeah.
that's come to us.
so, I mean, with the few that are the one that we know of for sure, I mean, I think we could have a strong board still. So, you know, I'm not afraid of that. And I think, like Gerald said, I mean, this is the way it used to be, long as it's not mismanaged like it was before we came on.
Right.
And we should be fine.
And,
And you can set that checkbook up where if it's below a certain amount, it just takes 2 of you. If it's more than that, it takes 3. You can set that up
Okay.
any way you guys want to as a board to make sure that you have,
yeah, consensus of
that
the
every-
board.
enough of the board on there that they can have control
It would
of it.
show in the minutes or in an email as to you approve this purchase, and have the 2 sign.
That's,
Right,
Then
and it'll,
Yeah.
that
it'll
would
speed up your
be
guys' process.
Correct.
You can have your meeting, approve the bills, write the checks, and you're not up here and,
it would streamline it back to where it was prior to 2015. We don't need to be, you know, once the budget's approved, it's just like any other department in the county. We approve your budget and you guys manage it.
yeah.
Okay.
We don't need to have oversight there and
Yeah,
to
and I'm
continue to run back
perfectly
and
fine with
forth
that.
doesn't make any logical sense.
Okay.
So you're gonna be 2 board members short, is that what I'm hearing?
Well, there's only, yeah.
2,
And
Of
like
a
So-
board of 5
it's board of 7,
or
isn't it?
7.
7.
7.
So, I don't remember the process for filling a board, did we appoint?
Yes, you guys
Yeah.
appoint.
Okay.
We appoint them. We're supposed to. Or that's
Yeah.
the way we've always done it.
That's the way it's always been, was,
David
Okay.
Spiegel was the other one.
yeah.
Okay,
That's correct. So like I said, we've only seen one. But we can, we have
Okay.
all kinds of things that we could discuss, but the biggest thing is that, number one, we just felt that you guys needed your checkbook and your budget back to operate as a fair board.
Yep.
We do not need oversight.
Okay,
yeah, I
Okay.
mean, we fully support what you guys are doing, because it's a tremendous amount of work. I had kids in there, and now I've got grandkids in there.
Right.
So on the checkbook, is that opened by the county or by the board?
I would believe it's by the board.
Yeah.
Okay, do they open it under the county's EIN?
Good
You'll
question.
you'll probably have to set that up yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna see what
Yeah,
all that.
If they
It's
don't,
gonna be its own independent entity.
You would cut a check and then we would have to put.
No, so that goes back to the question, is the fair board will be its own entity. You have to create your own taxpayer ID, identification number, and file with the
Um,
Secretary of State, correct?
that's
Is what you're saying?
No, because if you start that, down that road with the Secretary of State, you've created your own 501c3 or
Then you're
whatever
creating
number
an
you
entity.
want.
So is.
I'd ask Phaedra,
We can get that answered for you.
yeah.
Please
That
put
would be
it,
the question.
put it into an email where we won't, specifically exactly what you need, and that way we can get you the proper answer. But I don't think it was done that way prior, so I don't
No.
see us needing to set up anything
But I-
special.
No.
Probably underneath the county's EIN number, I'm guessing, but I could be wrong.
I would think so, because it's your money for the budget for the
Right.
fair, then we take that and put it into an account.
Yeah,
and
it's,
go
a- it's,
that
but
route.
it's still the county's money, and you're
Right.
just, you're budgeting it out. You're
Right.
creating them, you're managing it, and it's still the county's money.
Right.
Yeah,
So you're just managing it under our
We're getting
stuff.
nervous
It's
because
not,
it's like.
you don't have to do any of that
Somebody
stuff.
wanted to sue us, I mean, at least we're under the blanket of the county.
Right.
As a county fair board. If we got broke off as a private entity or a private, like a business,
Yeah, you
then
don't
I'm
wanna
like,
do
well,
that.
then we.
Then,
gotta figure
then
out-
you're wide open.
Yeah, and just, not that I think we'd ever have that problem, but you know, the world is today.
No, you don't wanna do that.
don't underestimate the world out there.
Right, you know.
As far as year-end audits or anything like that, would that be still ran through the county? or is
That still ran through the county as it is right now.
Yeah.
Our auditor does, everything, so yours would go just like any other
Just
budget.
be audited just like any others of our,
So you still have to do your due diligence and get everything submitted properly. I mean,
Oh, of
you,
course.
you still have to do that, but,
Nothing would change. The only thing that would change is the fact that we are able to pay our bills and,
you guys handle
the
all
only
of
thing,
it.
you're changing.
correct.
Right,
Well, it would be nice, it's gonna be nice for our community because we can pay them 30 days faster than normal.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's part of it, getting
You
it
guys-
streamlined and running.
I'm good with that.
And you guys don't have to take time to come up here and do all of that.
Are you good with that?
So, ask about like a QuickBooks program to manage this. I mean, if we're gonna have to set up our own stuff and be viable, it'd be easier, if we've gotta give them stuff for audits, that we just have a QuickBooks that we can have that. we
That's up,
keep, and then-
that's up to your board. You guys figure out what you wanna do
Yeah.
and make that decision.
QuickBooks, Peachtree, whatever. I mean, I'd go QuickBooks, but
It's all, that's up to you guys. That's a board decision. We don't need to oversee that.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think we're all good with that, if that's the way you guys want us to go. I mean,
I think it'd just be better.
I do too.
It
I think
streamlines
It's
it
better for
when,
you guys.
This is great.
I don't know what happened in 2015, why they pulled it away from you guys, but it was never that way before.
right.
I think they overspent a bunch
I,
on nonsense stuff, from
yeah,
what
from
we've
what
heard.
I heard was that the county had to step in and bail the fair board out
Yeah.
because you didn't have enough money to pay your bills.
Okay,
Their
And we're,
bills.
I can,
Their
but I can
bills,
tell
not
you,
These guys' bills.
and I'll speak for myself, but I can probably speak for the guys on my left and the right. If you overspend your budget, you're in trouble.
yeah. Yeah, it's not any different than your own money, you can't overspend it.
Correct.
Um,
So you do, just like normal, you do
And if,
have
and if,
to,
and if you do get in a situation where you need something extra, don't just go do it, come to us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, most definitely.
Come to us, don't do it and ask forgiveness later, because
Yeah.
there may not be much forgiveness.
Well, like I said, I think everybody except for Dustin should be on the board for at least another 2 years to, 3 years, so it should be fine. I mean, I think we
Okay.
should be fine.
okay.
Well,
good.
they operated it for years and years this way,
Yeah.
so
No, most
you guys will
definitely.
We
be
need to
fine.
advertise that
You'll be
position,
fine.
those positions.
We need to advertise those
Yeah,
other
we'll need to
positions, though.
advertise those
Not
board
just-
positions and get it out there into the public.
Yeah,
Yeah, usually by October, I think, is whenever we.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sure you can't twist his arm to stay?
we've tried.
Okay.
So 3 or just the 2?
We can have 2, but you can have an alternate in case,
That's what I was
That's
gonna
a
bring
good
up, because I
plan.
thought we had an alternate
Well,
always in the
that's where Mary
past.
came from,
Yeah.
Correct,
And
you were
that's
an
also
alternate.
where Lindsay came from.
yeah. And
So
somebody
you
gets,
started
we
out.
kinda need 2 members and an alternate.
Yep.
Yes.
if we can get them, but there's a lot of people that don't wanna do it.
They'll do it if they're paid, of course, but they don't like to volunteer, so.
So members will,
Oh, but the rewards, you know,
so if they wanna be a board member, it still goes to them.
Yep.
You know, if they wanna be a board member, just get it to Travis.
yeah.
And we've forwarded, I think, all of them onto you, I think, that we've got through our website and our Facebook
Yeah,
stuff, so,
Okay.
I've only seen the one.
okay. We'll get the other one sent to you.
Okay, so that, we can make sure that happens and then get that squared away relatively quickly. What else have we got?
The other question I have, we received the COVID grant this spring when Shaq was still here
Hmm.
and we have some of it left over that we have to spend, or we're gonna lose it.
Okay,
We thought about trying to do the bathrooms out there, but apparently they have to be
Engineered.
engineered for ADA bathrooms now, if they remodel them.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that, I got a call from Justin today that was talking about the electricity stuff. I don't know if we wanna put our fair board money into the electricity, cause we only use it one time a year.
Right.
Or, I mean, I guess kind of some direction in what you guys would like to see done with it. I mean, we've spent it on some stuff to try to do some improvements, but, I mean, we don't have a whole lot to play with. What do we have left, Dustin?
Around 27,000.
27,000?
The one thing I heard out there was the sound system. And I know it's gonna be, you know, a hurdle to get the sound right in that building.
And we've went through IT and everything since we got the grant, but we haven't got anything.
how long do you have before you make a decision
What
on
do
it?
we have?
When does it
2
have to
weeks?
be allocated and when does it have to be spent? If it's COVID, it had to be allocated like ours, by 2023, and I think 24 it had to be spent. So check and see if that's still the same with you all, because 2023 is really close.
Yeah, and like I said, that's something that, you know, kind of everything that we've thought about going for, it's always fell through because either we didn't have enough funding or, you know,
We didn't get solid prices. from
we
who
can't
need
get
it from.
solid prices from anybody,
Right.
you know.
So what, I'm gonna ask you back the same question. What are your top 3 priorities that would help you with what you do out there?
I mean, the bathrooms would be a great thing because, I mean, we spend, what, over $6,000 a year on bathrooms, rentals for porta potties. Or 5,300 a year. So that was kind of our idea, but, I mean, I don't think we have enough money to tear down those bathrooms and have them engineered and put back up. You know, we're not even, we wouldn't even pay the engineer estimate on it.
And our biggest hope was to remodel them and redo the showers and stuff and put heaters in them and insulate them. That way they could be used at Ag Expo or when they have the rodeo and all that stuff. But if you go in there, they're not very, very nice. I mean, you know, they're pretty grungy. So we're trying to gonna spruce those up for the families, but since we have to do all the other stuff now, that's kinda out the window.
The bathrooms are our number 1 at our county council and stakeholders meeting coming back from the families. Because those lower bathrooms, there's only 2 stalls, at least in the women's, I've never been in the men's, but there's only 2 stalls and 1 shower down there. And you gotta keep in mind where everybody is camping is down there, and everybody's animals are down there. And there's never soap, there's never any paper towels, there's no dryer, the dryers don't work. Half the time you don't even have a door that locks in there, it's just a plywood door that you're hoping doesn't come open. And they're just gross and outdated. And that's the number 1 thing on the improvement list that we get back from our families. And the barns are hot, that's the other big one, is the heat in the barns.
And the what?
The heat in the barns, the
Would-
heat is so hot out there during the
Would
summer.
cross ventilation solve some of that?
We tried, we got bigger fans and tried to get more cross ventilation, but, still with it, not enough. I mean, a couple coolers one on each side, and the rabbit, poultry, the sheep and goats, down there towards the beef, I think, ideal.
And then third on our list of stuff is the electricity out there, because it's constantly blowing breakers with the campers, even upstairs when we're trying to do the barbecue dinner, when we're trying to put all the roasters and stuff in there, it blows every breaker in the barn up there. The electricity and that infrastructure is just way, way outdated.
So we actually had Justin look into the 3 or 4 circuits on the poultry barn, I guess, is that what you call it? On the southwest side. I'm gonna let you talk about this, Travis, because
So we had the, I believe it was Cortez Electric come out, and I believe Empire, and they're gonna have to replace the box to get those boxes on the poultry barn upgraded from, what are they, 15 now to 30s?
Yeah, Justin just told me that they had to replace the transformers to
Yeah.
get enough. And I mean, we have that in our COVID fund, but at the same time, I mean, it only serves a small portion. But if, there was something else that could be, something more major, I guess. I mean, for the fair families, I guess, is what I was kind of looking at. I mean,
so
most of that RV stuff over there, I mean, the RVs keep getting bigger, but people keep wanting more and more power. And I mean, unless you put your own power grid out there, you're never gonna have enough either. So, I mean, I think the electricity, if you upgrade it this year, next year, you're gonna have to upgrade it again. And I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with electricity.
So would you guys find out for sure the allocation of the funds and then the actual spending them, when they have to be exhausted?
Yeah.
And if it is 2024, like I think it is, then, maybe with some of our CTF or something, maybe we can look at those
Yeah.
bathrooms. What you have there now probably isn't worth remodeling. It's probably beyond that, but.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we just want to do something, that will be long-term for the fairgrounds for future generations, not just throw it away this year and not have anything left.
And that's why we bought the small animal scale, and that's why we bought more fans for the barns to try to keep the animals cool. It's stuff that's gonna be there years and years down the road. It's not just blown away at an event.
Mhm.
I mean, something that everybody.
And the bathroom would be there for
Yeah.
multiple years.
Were you looking at putting it back up in the same place if those bathrooms were torn down?
I mean, we kind of left that up to Justin on his, I mean, he's the manager out there on what. I don't think that would be a very good location because it's in a hole and it floods all the time, so.
If it got raised up and the drainage got done, it'd probably be great in the same spot.
We can move it to a different location.
But, I mean, kind of whatever would be the best,
Okay, find out whoever
Okay.
controls that grant and get back to us so that we
Okay.
can.
Yeah.
So that was COVID CVRF money?
Is that what it was, Dustin?
Yeah. it was just-
CVRF or ARPA money?
Ag stimulus.
Ag stimulus, I think, is what it
Is-
was.
I just received the one letter from Shaq kind of listing when it needed to be, when they would like the funds spent, but I never got a copy of the actual grant when they had to be also.
Okay, well, maybe
Here, I'll
Travis,
find
that's
it.
actually something that we might have in our file and
Yeah.
it'd be cool.
The letter just said ag stimulus funds, kind of, due to COVID, kind of relief to help revive county fairs
It
and
was-
stuff.
It was specific for county fairs and expos.
Okay,
Yeah.
Because we didn't get as much as the other counties because we actually had a fair when COVID was going
In
on.
2020, yep. Because
Yeah.
we said, have your fair.
Is there a way
Okay.
we could put those restrooms where it could be used for the rodeo and stuff too?
Well, that's what I don't know. is
That's what we,
We
I
wanted to
mean,
get with
we,
the rodeo board and see if they wanted to put in and move them and, you know, make a kind of a better facility out of it where it could be used, you know, all the
Right.
way around.
I mean, I think it would be a benefit to the fairgrounds if they got fixed, I mean, that's why we're gonna put money into it to do that. It was gonna help the fair families, but plus it was gonna help all the other events going on. I mean, right now, you can't run them in the winter time or, you know, even fall because there's no heat in them. But if you could get them set up, they could be used at the Ag Expo. That would help them on some of the porta potty stuff, cause they have the stuff in the lower barns and stuff going on down there. I mean, it's gonna help the whole, as a whole out there for the fairgrounds, but, I mean, like I said, we wanna do long-term things with that money to make it benefit the community and the county, I guess.
Okay. Well, we'll look in that.
I'll talk to Bentley and see if they have any plans. Cause almost every year they come back with something that they're doing, you know, to upgrade stuff out there.
Well, they're wanting to put that parking lot on that lower level right now. If you remember that, they're
Yeah.
trying to put in for that grant to do that. Basically 3-acre parking
didn't
lot.
they get a grant from T-Mobile, I think is what it was?
I mean, they were trying to last year, I know, 'cause I went
Right.
and looked at it, but they never, there wasn't enough funding in it either. So, I mean, like I said, there might not be enough to upgrade it, but, I mean, it's a start too. I mean, with the way things are, it might be a long time before the county could actually go out there and build a new set of bathrooms. So, if we could help out, we would much rather do it that way.
Okay. And what'd you say you had, Dustin?
What's that?
27,
Yeah,
roughly?
Because like that too, I mean, if we're spending, what, 53 a year on porta potties, I mean,
Yeah,
even if we figured out a way to
Cut it in
put that to, you know,
yeah, if you could
a
just cut it in
payment on a
half.
bathroom, you know, for the fair,
I mean, we'd still need a couple just.
yeah, but
Here
it,
and
I mean,
there,
it would
but
help
not-
out a bunch.
You're never gonna get away from at
Right,
least
but
having
we
a
could
couple.
We could cut that number in half that we do get, you know, if we had the restroom with 4 stalls on each side instead of just the 2 and, you know, little, like you said, updated.
Okay,
I think that's all I have,
Alright.
unless somebody else has anything, or you guys have anything else. I mean, you know, I guess.
no, we just wanted to make sure that
Clarifications were made.
Yeah.
the clarifications are made and that the stuff that we're answering out in public is not by any means what we said. And we didn't want that out there in the public anywhere because it's incorrect.
Okay.
Beware of the keyboard warriors out there.
The other thing, I mean, if you guys need us in here for budget purposes or whatever, you can call us and we can try to schedule to get off, but, I mean, we're grateful for everything that we do get or can get, and I mean, for our budget.
I mean, you guys will have to develop your budget just like you normally do? Or I don't know if Shaq worked with you with it
Shaq was always doing it before.
last year?
Yeah.
It's your budget, you develop it, you know where the line items are, and then you have to present it just like anybody else. If you have to present it at 7 o'clock at night, we are more than.
We're here.
We are more than willing to move our workshops, just like we did today. We try to finish up everything with staff in the day while the staff is still here, but we will come back for any night meeting. That's not an issue to us at all. So don't ever feel that way if you guys need to set it. Now, I will say it's better on workshop day, which is Mondays, which is your typical meeting anyway, so it's kind of normal. But we can definitely come back in at 7 o'clock. We just continue our meeting.
Sounds good.
I'm good.
We're
Okay.
here. we're here all day, every day, so the hours don't matter to us. Okay,
Okay, thank you
all
guys.
right, thank you guys.
We appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, we have actually come to the end of our agenda for our August 22nd, 2022 workshop. So gentlemen, we are adjourned.
All right.
Thank you.